There's a button you've probably clicked more times than you'd ever admit out loud. A website you visit when you're bored, stressed, or just alone. And here's the uncomfortable truth, it's rewiring your brain in ways you can't see yet. Scientists have been studying this for years now, and what they've found is genuinely disturbing. We're talking about measurable changes in the same brain regions affected by substance addiction. But here's what almost no one talks about, the damage isn't just happening in your head. It's bleeding into your real life in ways that are so gradual, you won't notice until it's almost too late. And the worst part? The industry behind it knows exactly what they're doing. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you tried to quit? Maybe you made it a few days. Maybe even a week. But then something happened, a bad day, a moment of weakness, boredom, and suddenly you were right back where you started. That's not a coincidence. And it's definitely not a lack of willpower. What's happening is far more calculated than you think. Because that site you keep going back to. It's been engineered by some of the smartest psychologists and developers in the world to do one thing, keep you coming back. In 2014, researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Berlin conducted brain scans on frequent users. What they discovered was shocking, the reward center of the brain, the striatum, was significantly smaller in people who consumed this content regularly. Think about that. Your brain is literally shrinking in the area responsible for motivation, decision-making, and pleasure. But it gets worse. A study published in JAMA Psychiatry found that the more someone uses these sites, the less their brain responds to normal, everyday rewards. That morning coffee. That conversation with a friend. Your brain stops registering them as enjoyable. You're training your mind to only feel good when you're in front of a screen, chasing that temporary high. And here's the kicker, this isn't just about adults. Adolescent brains are even more vulnerable. Research from Cambridge University shows that exposure during teenage years, when the prefrontal cortex is still developing, can lead to long-term issues with impulse control and emotional regulation. We're talking about permanent changes. But the brain changes are just the beginning. Because what's happening in your mind is starting to show up in your real life. And that's where things get really uncomfortable. Let me tell you about something called the Coolidge Effect. It's a biological phenomenon discovered in animals, but it applies to humans too. Basically, when exposed to a constant stream of novel partners, even digital ones, the brain releases massive amounts of dopamine. Over time, your brain starts craving that novelty. Real relationships. Real people. They can't compete. They're not new enough, not exciting enough. And suddenly, without even realizing it, you've lost the ability to connect. Studies from the University of Zurich found that men who consume this content regularly report significantly lower relationship satisfaction. Not because their partners changed, but because their brains did. They've been conditioned to expect a level of stimulation that real life simply can't provide. Intimacy becomes performance. Connection becomes consumption. And it's not just relationships. A 2019 study in behavioral sciences tracked thousands of young men and found a direct correlation between frequent use and decreased motivation, lower academic performance, and increased social anxiety. Here's what's happening, every time you visit that site, you're borrowing dopamine from your future self. Your brain starts associating pleasure with isolation, with screens, with instant gratification. And slowly, the things that actually matter, your goals, your work, your real connections, start feeling dull in comparison. If this is hitting home, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Because what I'm about to tell you next might just change everything. Now here's what the industry doesn't want you to know. These platforms aren't just hosting content. They're using artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms specifically designed to keep you hooked. Every click you make, every second you watch, every search term you type, it's all being analyzed and weaponized against you. The algorithm learns your preferences faster than you do. It knows when you're most vulnerable, what triggers you, what keeps you scrolling. One study from the University of Amsterdam found that these recommendation systems are designed to escalate content, showing progressively more extreme material to maintain your interest. You didn't come here looking for that. But the algorithm knows that's how you stay. And the business model? It's brilliant in the most sinister way. They don't need you to pay money. They just need your time. Your attention. Your repeated visits. Because that's what they sell to advertisers. You're not the customer. You're the product. And every day you come back, you're making someone else rich while making yourself poorer in focus, in motivation, in real human connection. So how do you actually quit? Because here's the truth, willpower alone won't work. Your brain has been hijacked by a multi-billion-dollar industry with unlimited resources. You need a system. First, understand that the first 2 weeks are going to be brutal. Research shows that withdrawal from behavioral addictions can produce anxiety, restlessness, and mood swings similar to substance withdrawal. Your brain is literally recalibrating. Expect that. Prepare for it. Here's what actually works: environmental design. Delete the apps. Install website blockers. Not because you need a babysitter, but because you're removing friction. Every extra step between you and that site gives your prefrontal cortex time to catch up to your impulses. Next, replace the habit. This is crucial. When you feel the urge, you need a predetermined alternative. Physical exercise is scientifically proven to reset dopamine levels. Cold showers, believe it or not, trigger a dopamine spike that can last for hours. The urge isn't about desire, it's about dopamine depletion. Feed your brain what it actually needs. And here's something most people miss: tell someone. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that accountability increases success rates by over 60%. You don't need to broadcast it to the world. Just one person. One friend who'll check in. Shame thrives in secrecy. Healing happens in honesty. Look, I know this isn't easy to hear. Maybe you're sitting here thinking this doesn't apply to you, that you've got it under control. And maybe you do. But if there's even a small part of you that knows you're lying to yourself, if you've ever felt that emptiness right after, that self-loathing, that sense that you're trapped in a cycle you can't break, then this is your sign. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Right now. Your future self is begging you to make a different choice. Because the truth is, you're not missing out by quitting. You're missing out by staying. The science is clear. The damage is real. But here's the good news: your brain is incredibly resilient. Neuroplasticity means it can heal. The changes aren't permanent, if you stop now. Studies show that after just 90 days without exposure, brain scans start returning to normal. Dopamine receptors begin to recover. Real-life experiences start feeling rewarding again. You start showing up differently in your relationships, your work, your own skin. But none of that happens if you keep hitting that button. So here's my challenge to you: go 30 days. Just 30. Prove to yourself that you can. And if you can't, maybe that tells you everything you need to know. The site will still be there in a month if you really want to go back. But I'm betting you won't. Because once you feel what it's like to be free, you'll never want to go back to being controlled. Drop a comment if you're committing to this. Just one word: done. Let's build a community of people who chose something better. And if you found this valuable, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one.